You're live.
Oh, we're live.
Amazing. GGM team, can you please text Nick and I if you can hear us and see us?
Or
I was going to say, and if we look okay, but maybe just...
It's a bit much to ask, Billy.
We're on.
We're on.
We're on.
Yes.
Bang.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. Sorry, 3 minutes late.
3 minutes late. But we're here.
Okay.
Thanks for your patience, guys. We actually just hit a little bit of refresh. Welcome along. This is my second AMA with Billy for the Patreon crew. Very excited to be here. We have a raft of questions already from Slido that all of you guys have actually voted on. So we'll go through those, I think, mainly chronologically. I don't think it's chronological because it wasn't a timing thing.
You're doing it in the voting?
Upvoted. Sorry,
how much so voted? Do you want to start on one that just came through?
Have you? Why? What? Do you want
to? Maybe I'll get you to answer this one. What's the hardest part about living life as a sexy guy?
I wouldn't know. I think we can keep going, Billy.
So just a couple of humorous ones, some serious ones, but we'll see how we go. And you can still submit questions because the amazing GGM team are in the background. And if there's anything great, they'll catch it and flick it through to us.
Fantastic. All right, should we kick it off?
Yeah. And so everyone knows we record the podcast on Thursday morning. So I'm getting a lot of Nick today, which is beautiful.
Yeah, you're getting the same outfit, I've realised as well. So you might see this one for the next fortnight, not just for the live show. Anyway, I've gone a little bit analog here, Billy. I've actually gone with a few printed out notes just because the technology last time was astounding. And I did struggle a little bit, but here I am vision switching already. I hope you guys appreciate that. All right. They didn't come for comedy, Billy. They came for your answers. So let's go. Hi, Nick and Billy. What does a world look like where no kid is left behind? Dream big. What are the benefits to the child, family, society, and community?
Yeah, well, I actually think, what do you think it looks like for your family if your kids aren't left behind?
I think that they'll feel successful and probably hit their absolute potential is
Amazing.
What I kind of think will be the outcome. That's what I would like to see.
And what do you think potential in what?
Oh, they just won't experience sort of social emotional setbacks, which means they'll probably end up, just getting where they want to get to in life without.
Well, yeah, experiencing those setbacks, but having the skill set to.
Sorry, yeah,
of course,
not like a perfect world, but like just I think that they'll just have like good skills and I just think it'd be more inclusive and a really good thing. Yeah, that's right, I think. Yeah,
I think that reaching potential is beautiful and that success thing, and we know that lots of kids are just not experiencing that. Every day they're experiencing failure. And, it's so detrimental, those experiences, to their social and emotional development, remembering that's the biggest predictor of adult mental health, adult physical health, income, trajectory through school, community connection, relationships. Like that's what I want, because I look around and see all the adults that are struggling, and I actually really struggle seeing that, and I can't do anything about that. I'm not trained in that, but I know they were all kids that weren't set in stone to have that story. So my idea is it's not how do families do it better, it's just how do they understand where to put their efforts, not more effort, to guide their kids. But then the community also starts taking weight off their shoulders, whether it's the clinicians like me, the schools, the footy teams, everything kind of come around and say, yeah, we teach people maths and we teach people how to kick a footy, but we also understand how to proactively support social and emotional development, how to catch early signs of emerging mental illness or developmental concerns, and how to use the evidence base in a real world. And that will change the world if we can do that. Yep. I'm not going to change the world sitting in clinic while kids are waiting 3 years to spend an appointment with me, and I currently can't see them for another 4 months.
Yeah, okay.
So that's important for me, it guides me. I get this kind of coalface experience, but that's what Guiding Growing Minds is trying to do. And we all work together. Like, all the evidence shows that communities where all of those with knowledge, including lived experience, feel safe to share it and feel empowered to utilize their strengths, they then come around kids really well.
Wow, okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, think about the schools knowing
totally
where our kids do ninja training. Knowing those coaches, knowing that environment, like that place does it really well. But also,
that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, they know the GP, they know the local peds, the educators feel supported by the broader community. Like that's the stuff that matters, and you'll change kids' lives.
Yep.
If you do that, and they will reach their potential. We know most kids are not reaching their potential because of modifiable stuff.
It's a grand ambition, Billy, but I'm glad I'm glad we have it. I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing we can be aiming for. Hey, Billy, someone asked, how can I apologize to my adult children because I did not meet their needs adequately? There's no internet or community support in the 1990s. I have one neurodivergent child.
Yeah, well, I think it's a beautiful thing to hear that question come in. The first thing it makes me think of is that I hope that person's okay, because you can kind of feel, can't you, in the question, that there's a bit of a risk of like feeling bad about what they've done. I think it's important. I feel bad about what I do. Do you know what I mean? As in the way that I parent. Like, I'm not doing it perfectly. I have all the training and all the evidence, and I still stuff it up. And, I still have to say sorry to my kids. Like, do you say sorry to your kids now?
Yeah, I get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's really important, isn't it? And so, we didn't know back then, and I have to give like some of my experiences a bit of a break. And it's amazing, because I think what I hear in that question is someone who's trying to heal a relationship and taking the responsibility of it, which is really powerful, because a lot of parents out there are dug in. The hardest families I have at the moment are certain, the two that I'm thinking of, they're certain something's wrong with their teenager. Can't be them.
Oh, hang on. What do you mean?
It's them. So they bring the kid in, kid hardly talks to me. School says the kid's thriving. I don't get along with this teenager. There must be something wrong with him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're the two families I'm failing with at the moment.
Right.
So I hear that parent, and I just want to celebrate them for reflecting back and thinking I could have done this better, but we all could have done it better. It's not the goal. It's kind of on topic of our last podcast that comes out on Monday, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
How do we give ourselves the kindness? You didn't say the movie, so. No. But how do we give ourselves the kindness and compassion? And I think just reaching out for them, but always remembering that like we're at a different stage in that behavior change or acceptance or healing than the other person is, and we have to be respectful of that. And I've had my own journey as a kid, as you know, going to someone and saying, hey, this was pretty awful in my childhood, and having that not be received well. So that was hard as the kid, but the beautiful thing is this parent is taking responsibility. And even when our kids are adults, it's really important that happens.
Yeah, hell of a reflection. Good on. Hey, Billy, while parenting and listening to PCP, many are uncovering unmet needs from their own childhoods and need reparenting themselves. Other than therapy, what can we do?
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And it's funny that came through, because we recorded PCP this morning, and I went and had a therapy session before I went to clinic. So and it was beautiful. It was really emotional, and it was about recognizing some of those experiences we've had. And I don't feel like, you obviously, I'm not saying you had a perfect childhood, but we've had a different childhood, you and I.
Yep.
And for me, a lot of my dysfunction in my adult life is tied back to my childhood. And I have to, the therapy helps me, but that person is right. It's not just therapy. What that therapist is helping me with is what we're trying to help PCP with, is think about what are the evidence-based ways we think about this. And the way that I do that with myself is I literally think about myself as a little kid.
Yep.
So I think about when I'm struggling, what's going on? How am I feeling? What if I was a little kid who was stuck here? What if I was kind of really getting angry or frustrated and then feeling like I'm a piece of crap because I'm getting annoyed and all that stuff, and thinking about where does that shame come from, and then how can I give myself the same kindness and love that I wish I'd had more of as a little kid. You know what I mean? You can still give that self to you now, and you give that to me, I try and give that to you. Like, I try and show you how loved and celebrated you are, and in the relationship with you. But I have to do that to myself. I'm actually pretty crap at doing that to myself. I'm just a critic on myself. And that comes from my childhood, like so many of us.
Because that comes back to that point, which we did cover in this morning, that was once upon a time helpful, right?
Yeah, so that's it. So if you think about the help-seeking ladder, which we've spoken about before, I think, you're struggling, you externalize, crack it,
got it,
blow up.
Yep.
If people don't listen to you, or you get punished for that, or worse, they withdraw their love, you internalize it. And a lot of us learned that in childhood. And so you get stuck in these internalizing ways where you don't help seek. It takes safe relationships to be able to say, I'm annoyed. I need help. I'm really frustrated now and I'm really angry.
Okay.
And you need people that hear that and come towards you,
Mm-hmm.
not move away from you. As kids, we need that. As adults, if we didn't have it as kids, we're really vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's insecure attachment.
Yep.
That's transactional relationships.
Yep.
You know, we have to unlearn that and say, actually, I can say something to Nick and I know he's still going to be a mate.
Yes.
You know, and that's, I didn't have that experience through my childhood. Without going too deep into it, like I have you and Annalise and a couple of other people, you know.
Yep.
But you're the ones that are giving me that faith, and that's how you do it. You do it in the real world. Therapy's helpful, but what we're trying to do with PCP is bring the evidence into the real world.
Okay. Billy, this might be, well, no, I shouldn't say so. What strategies can I use to assist with my middle child? I have a 5, 3, and 1-year-old during meltdowns when I can't fully support them due to the needs of the other children.
Yeah. Do you have this?
No.
You don't have 3, but do you have this where you can't get to one of them?
Yeah. Yes. I'm just thinking. We did this like 2 episodes ago, but without like actually thinking about like the episode. What would I do?
So they both had a blue.
Yep.
And for people overseas, they're both upset with each other.
Yeah, they've had a blue. Yes, they've had a blue.
And you can only get to one of them.
You can only get to one of them. So you're basically showing the one. You're showing the other one. Oh, I stuffed this up, Billy. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's okay.
But
think about it in your head. Visualize it. Be like one of the girls. They've had a big fight. One of them's really upset, but both of them are upset. You go to the one who's really upset.
Yeah.
What do you do with the one who's a couple of meters away and also upset?
Maybe ask them how they could help. No.
Well, what you actually do is you still connect with them, don't you?
Yeah.
You might not be able to. So what I do is I will always, so Charlie and Evie will have a blue or a fight and something happens and they're amazing together. But I'll try and go to both of them and bring them both together. But sometimes one of them is so upset that closer proximity of the other one escalates them. Yeah. So when that happens, I will go to one of them, often the one who needs me the most, but I always try and connect with the other one at the same time. Whether touch, visual, speech, all that stuff. What I want that second kid to know is I see them. I'm aware of them. Okay. And I'm trying to connect with them. And I might not be able to, but I just want that attempt. I want to make sure that they see me trying.
Not easy.
But totally, but they just need to see us trying.
Yeah, okay.
Remember that. Like it's not about stopping a baby crying. It's not about stopping a kid having a tantrum. It's not about the teen who, comes in and swears at you. You're not trying to stop that. You're trying to think about, I'm connecting with you in those moments. And what we're trying to find over multiple iterations is healthier ways to signal to each other that we need help.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I reckon you and I have gotten even better at that.
Yep. Do
you know what I mean? Because and some of it's been failure, but we get better at it because we adjust.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're responsive and reactive. And that doesn't mean every single time. We've got to remember as well, it's okay. Kids build their frustration tolerance when we're not able to perfectly meet their needs.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? We haven't spoken about that much because I worry sometimes that I get put in the basket of someone who's just parroting the really soft, gentle parenting thing of just love will save everything. You know what I mean? But actually, it's that is not how you stretch kids.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If we are on top of them every single second that they struggle, they won't learn those inner skills. But we just can't leave them most of the time to figure it out on their own.
Yep.
They need to have success in signaling support.
Yep. Hey,
easy to say, and now with 3, like I'm even more frequently stuffing
I'll
up.
be able to see how it all sort of plays out. I'm sure you'll get some opportunities.
Yeah, but it's hard. And I feel like now I'm more with Charlie and Evie because Annalise with the bar.
Yeah, heavily dependent.
Yeah, but whereas when it was just Evie, I was like, sweet, I can just be holding this baby and all that stuff. But now I just feel guilty that I'm not doing enough with Heidi. You know what I mean? But it's also a huge privilege to have a beautiful little bub in the house.
No, cute. Hey, Billy, how to self-regulate myself with a child's meltdown. I've got a 6-year-old girl, suspected ASD and ADHD. She's intelligent and articulate, struggles with unmet expectations and demands.
Yeah. So what's the vulnerability in a bright kid that age? You've got one.
What is they? I don't know. What is it?
So one of the most, some of the most vulnerable kids I meet in clinic are the smart kids.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes, you're so articulate, you're so smart.
Oh, you pitch it too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pitch it too high. So that's a vulnerability in that. There's also a vulnerability in a mismatch with a kid who has ADHD or autism, because we're like, no, this is the way you should be able to understand this and connect with it.
Right.
I feel like the question also was like, how do I, was something to do with themselves first, wasn't it?
Yeah, how do I self-regulate myself with my child's meltdowns? Yeah.
So when's the last place you get good at it?
In the moment.
Yeah, and the big ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the big meltdowns.
But do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of us don't see the little ones as how we get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
We just grit our teeth, just jump in the car anyway, all of that stuff. But that's actually the safest place to do the work, on recognizing this is irritating me, that this kid's not getting in the shower or not getting into the car and not listening to me. You have to come straight back to yourself in those moments and be like, this is annoying me.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Seeing it in yourself.
Yeah, it was just happening then. I was like, had half an hour with the kids. So I got home before I did this.
Yep.
And Evie was just challenging me on getting in the bath. And if I just said it louder, went more towards her and all that stuff, but I had to catch myself first and be like, this is irritating me. And that's how I self-regulate. That's interoception. That's just like what's happening for me right now. That's like what's going on in my body. What do I feel like? And we should like broadcast that loudly for our kids as well. So not to put the blame on them, but just to say this is what's happening. Okay. But that's how you practice it in the little ones.
Yep. Don't practice in the big ones.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you're just like sporting analogy, if you're just like, I'll never train, I'll just go out every Saturday and play and expect to be good at it.
Yep.
You're not going to be.
Yep. No,
but it's a skill that you invest in. And people like me who have fiery temperaments and sensitive need to do it in even smaller ones and maybe take longer. Yeah. But everyone's capable of learning it.
Yep. I'm going to pick us up a little bit.
Amazing.
How's that sound? Yeah. That means the speed. We've got the speed a little bit. Hey, difference between an orchid child and ASD. Kinder won't accept shy temperament and wants labels. Field officer confirmed he's slow to warm. Advocate with facts.
Yeah, definitely. Like more powerful than facts is like those educators and preschool field officers getting to know that little kid. And can you remember what the difference between sensitive temperament and neurodivergence is?
Sensitive temperament, ASD. That's
sensitive. Rejection sensitivity, dysphoria you're thinking of. Sensitive temperament is the bit of like the dandelions and the orchids.
You're born that way.
Born like a beautiful.
Born sensitive.
You're born sensitive. Never change.
Yep.
Interestingly, there is a middle group, and the only reason I'm saying that, I'm not trying to be confusing, of the research, not boys, but the research that's looked at that calls them tulips, and they are slow to warm up.
Gotcha.
But you think about those kids, don't you? That they're like a bit nervous, but then they're fine and they're running. And once they're there and feel comfortable, because they feel safe, secure, familiar, connected and all that stuff, and then they're fine. But then there's other people, kids like me and adults like me, who will always have that vulnerability. And temperament is really how you emotionally experience the world and how you express those emotions. Autism is not about your emotional expression and experience. It's about your broader neurodevelopmental skill set and how it is atypical or diverges from what mainstream culture says is how you should be able to experience the world. Right. So it's everything. It's the way you focus. It's the way you understand language. It's the way you express language. Temperament is really about your emotional sensitivity. And remembering one is not better than the other. It's not better to have a easygoing temperament or a slow to warm up temperament or a sensitive temperament. There's a vulnerability in the orchids that we don't meet their needs, and we look at them and go, I can't believe that was such a big deal. Get over it. Right. But they do really well because they're often really pro-social. So what we know is if we follow them through the life course
Mhm.
and we support them, they will often thrive in relationships, for example, in adult relationships, because they're sensitive to someone else.
Yes.
Once they're fine themselves, they get very good at picking up, hey, you're struggling a bit,
Right.
because they can see themselves. In the same way, I'm really good at picking up Evie struggling. Do you know what I mean? It's not because I'm a better parent than Annalise. Like, I don't even want to do that measurement, but because I'd lose. But it's not a competition. But,
It's not a comp, mate.
But Evie's blowing up over some tiny little thing, and Annalise is very good with it. But she'll be like, "I can't believe that's such a big deal," and I'll be like, "I can." Do you know what I mean?
Empathy pouring out.
Yeah, because I got annoyed that the helmet fell off the bike while I was trying to put it on this morning. Do you know what I mean? And cracked it.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what I mean? Whereas people like Annalise can just roll with that. They're just like, it doesn't bother them. And they don't even understand why it bothers me.
Yep.
But it's just that kind of reactivity for me. But I'm also hugely sensitive. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I adore spending time with people I love, and not saying you don't, but I'm just so sensitive to it.
Yes.
Like I can, have really rich experiences emotionally because of that as well. Like I cry at most movies. I cry almost every podcast episode now.
That's
multiple times.
happens.
Yeah, totally. And it's even when I'm mentally stable. You know what I mean? It's not just because I'm depressed.
You're mentally stable. Yes.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's because you can listen to that and it's still powerful for you. Yeah. But it's just really big for me. And so that's the difference.
Okay.
And it's just enhancing that and connecting with it and scaffolding it in kids. But it is hard because the diagnosis means resources come.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas someone saying he's got a sensitive temperament brings no resources. It should, but it doesn't.
Yeah, okay. Slight building on that, less about the parent and how they manage themselves, but how do you help an anxious child, possibly with ASD, to develop a strong sense of self-worth, self-esteem, and a positive internal working model?
Amazing. It's a great question.
Good question, isn't it?
So, you think about this. How do you do that?
I think I would really like your...
Totally.
But I'll give you my 2 cents. Again, the people are going to get it. Billy, I would say just find out what they're good at and what they like. No, what they like and what they're good at.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Is that a good place to start?
That's a beautiful place to start.
Yeah. Because
that's what's called a strengths-based narrative.
Yes.
So a lot of kids that come into clinic, it's all the things they can't do, all the things they're stuffing up. And we have to hear that.
Yes.
Totally. But the kids just sit there and they're like, and I've had kids this week that are just come in with these awful stories and narratives wrapped around them about how scared they are, they're never listening, they can't do all the things they can't do. And I have to hear that and be curious as to why diagnostically, what's going on. And once again, this question beautifully, if you're going to guess anxiety. Like thinking about what does anxiety look like? It looks like I can't concentrate. I always need reassurance. I think that people don't like me. I think that I'm going to fail at something. I get tummy aches. I get headaches. I feel tired. I get angry. I shut down. Those are all clinical symptoms of anxiety that will mean that you feel like you're failing at stuff and it impacts your self-esteem being secure. Remember, we're aiming for secure self-esteem, not high self-esteem.
Yes.
Yes. And a kid with secure self-esteem can take feedback.
Yes.
They don't always have to win. They don't constantly need reassurance. They can celebrate others.
Yes.
They can interpret things and be like, this isn't an attack on me.
Yep.
But all those kids I see, and some of those kids are buried so deep in that, that they've put huge walls up where they pretend they don't care. Like some of the kids I'm most worried about at the moment are like, there's nothing wrong. I've never been happier. And they're just completely shutting everyone out. And it's because they have such fragility in their self-esteem that they can't even open it up. I'm mainly talking about teenagers, that they're just like, no, I'm fine. I'm tough. Like that's where they're at. So how do you then work through that? Like you just said, but also remembering if we think about, and CBT is not the main way that we do, that's not the only therapy. It's just the one with the most evidence. Psychoeducation, symptom control, cognitive restructuring, exposure, relapse prevention. Psychoeducation is the podcast. It's what's going on in our bodies. You're overwhelmed. Your sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive. You're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's not you're out of your control. Symptom control is how do we connect with it early? How do we catch it early? And how do I sit right next to you and support you in validating that, acknowledging it, and then finding the things that we do that bring our parasympathetic nervous system back. Be aware of the present moment. Feel what's going on in our bodies. Only then can you go anywhere near a different way of thinking about things, which is cognitive restructuring. What else might be true? What else could have been going on? Remembering that preschool age kids have no ability to understand, especially when they're dysregulated, that someone else might have had a different experience or a different thinking to them. You know, they're just still egocentric about that. And then all of us go back to that. If I'm really pissed off, I have no ability to be like, well, maybe Nick didn't mean it that way. Do you know what I mean? If I'm crushed by something you said and someone's like, well, Nick didn't mean it that way, you know, I'm back. I'm right back to that childhood level of functioning, that lower brain, you know, functioning of just I'm angry because I'm anxious. You know, I'm anxious about what this means. That I've stuffed up, I'm not good enough, I'm going to lose that person in my life, I'm going to fail, all the other kids in the class are going to laugh at me, all of that stuff.
Sorry, I came to you shot there. I was trying to read the screen. Apologies. I'm going to keep
That's great. Hopefully, GGM, can you just let us know that we're still going well? We're not looking at
it's a validation.
Because I can see you guys answering questions. So just can you just text me if I need to do something or Nick needs to do something to stop and read something someone said, because I'm just conscious people are messaging on there.
Yeah, cool. Hey, my son can hit out at moments of perceived rejection if he doesn't get what he wants. How can I react without him feeling shame and help him to stop this?
Yeah, what do you do if one of the kids wants something and you're like, you can't have it? And think about, it's totally fine when you're like, bad luck, and you're just like, bedtime or whatever. But what do you do if they're really struggling and you know you can't give it to them?
Just say, I can tell this is really hard for you, and connect with them. So I connect with them.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's what I do first.
Yeah, but that's great, isn't it? I reckon it's beautiful language. I can tell this is really hard for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
so what are you doing?
Connecting with them.
Yeah. What else are you doing?
Validating their feelings.
Beautiful. Yeah. And do you jump straight to?
No, you don't jump straight to solution mode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So have we ever spoken about?
Well, like this is in the ideal scenario. And then there's like.
Yeah, but remembering like rejection sensitivity dysphoria sits mainly within currently, and it'll get better diagnostically, but it sits mainly within kids with ADHD. And the reason is because they just fail so much. So if every time you took a step, you fell over.
Right. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You'd be pretty worried when someone's like, walk over here.
Yep.
Or do this thing. You'd be like, I'm just going to screw this up as well.
Yep.
So then when someone's like, you know, pushes back against you or something like that, or tries to overcorrect you or something like that, even completely appropriately, completely sensitively and everything. But remembering our boundaries help kids feel safe. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
If you just gave in to the girls all the time, you'd be doing them no favors in the short term or the long term.
Yep.
Your house would become chaotic.
Yep. But
also they'd be like, is that actually in control here?
Yeah.
And this is a lot of traumatized kids that we see. They just live in environments where there is no boundaries.
Yeah.
There is no consequences. There is no kind of structure, routine, and all that stuff.
So they feel
remembering
unsafe.
Routine itself is not protective. It's the predictability component of it.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
Yes.
the school that has the timetable, the home that has the process, you know, the reason that the kids know that we're always going to do reading time, it helps them feel safe. It helps them kind of feel like there's a plan in place, there's a process, there's predictability. I hope I've answered that one.
No, done a good job. Thank you. Hey, Billy, my 4-year-old is regressing with toileting and insists on going number 2 only in a nappy. What can I do about this?
Beautiful. Take the pressure off is first step.
Yeah.
So meal times, bedtimes, toileting, what we always do is put pressure on. And we see kids in clinic that are in primary school that can't be in the toilet and can't be next to a toilet, can't sit on a toilet because they've just had so much pressure. And the parents haven't done anything wrong. They've just moved harder and harder in when the kid's putting up.
Tried to give them stretch.
Yeah. But it's
When
not,
they
when they're actually stressed, it's not a time to stress them. But it's interesting, very quickly, funny anecdote that I haven't told you yet. Charlie, like, we got his hearing tested and stuff because we're worried about his language development. He, we put a lot of effort into toilet train Evie, like, and, you know, we're trying to land this thing to put some evidence base and who gives a crap around toilet training. I think I've spoken about that because they reached out years ago. People don't understand, and we talk about it in the episode, I think, about what are the actual signs and what are the domains that know that a kid's ready. But the biggest mistake I see people make is pressure. We put so little pressure on Charlie that one of his 20 words was poo. And he's like, started taking himself. I'm not kidding. Been so worried about him, but even before 2, he started saying poo and going to the toilet. Starting pulling his pants down. We did nothing. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That kid is like such a middle child already. This is before Heidi was born. I'm not kidding. I've been worried that something's going on with him, and like, how bad am I? I'm developmental ped. I haven't sorted out his language stuff. We're environmentally depriving him. He's not talking much and all this stuff. And then he's literally starting taking himself off. So that is one of the signs that they're ready. They show interest in it. The regression is often the big thing as well, I have to say medically, is a lot of kids who go backwards, they're constipated. So they should have, you know, easy to pass bowel motions, no straining. Everyone, people who are not in this space won't want to look this up, but if you look up Bristol's stool chart, you'll see where they should be sitting in terms of what it looks like, but there should be no straining and difficulty, because if you don't sort that out, it will make them worse because they'll get pain, or at a lower level, they just don't have the sensation.
Yeah.
Remembering very quickly, in case of someone else who will benefit from this, the order it happens for kids is they realize they've gone, then they learn to realize they're going. The last thing they realize is they need to go. And that's all just a pressure thing.
Yes.
But if you've been chronically constipated, you don't get that feedback in your lower bowel. So, but just big thing is no pressure. Like, just take the pressure off. And then, you know, the easiest time of the day, often after a meal, because they get a gastric reflex, is how about we go and sit, and we talk about like 1 minute for your age. So if they're 4, we just sit for 4 minutes, do some tiger growls, you do something, celebrate it. You're amazing. You're not waiting for anything. You don't sit there until you go. But they get really upset and annoyed about it. You just take it off. Take all the pressure out.
Yeah, did that with one of mine. Applied tons of pressure, and especially, honestly, at signs of regression.
I think I gave you some unsolicited feedback in the kitchen.
No, you gave me very solicited feedback. You did. You gave me very solicited feedback, but it's one of only 2 times you've given me. And I was like, no, give it to me straight. And you were like, well, this is what you were good. It was very solicited, very direct. I know it. Hey, Billy, on a lighter moment, let's go to a light question. Billy, behind the scenes question.
Okay. I haven't seen these, so I definitely had time to. I just haven't had time to.
I'm just making these up. Hey, Billy, behind the scenes question. How do you decide what to share on the pod or not? Any red lines set by the wives?
Oh, by the wives.
I
no.
hadn't read that question either. I just
So no,
question.
God, I found, like, hats off to them. You know, is how amazing they are, because we're able to do this now. But I don't, it's funny because I think about, like, even seeing the therapist today, it was funny because I'm like, this is one of the best moments of my fortnight because we've recorded. I've had time with you, but I've also put all this stuff out into the world that I've been thinking about for a fortnight. My head is always in the pod. I try and be really, like, I hope I obviously never use any information of either kids in clinic that's identifiable, or we pull everything out of the emails. I hope I honor that. In terms of my personal story, I share it in a way that I hope is helpful. I try to kind of be respectful of, you know, people in my life or who've been in my life previously, but I don't have any stuff like that. I think I also know, like, how Annalise feels about the podcast. So, you know, she's really supportive, and I know Henry is, but I don't have any red lines. And we just do, like, people might not believe it, we just do one take. So
I think people would believe it, Bill. I know it's a single take, but they've never seen vision switching quite like this, have they? Billy, I think.
But yeah, do you have any?
I have some. I have some stuff I'm sensitive about.
Yeah.
And I think about like I would hope that in years to come, my kids will listen to it, not because Dad was an expert or that he was sitting next to an expert, but like maybe more of like I shared honestly about things that I was struggling with, that I was struggling with. Like it's not their fault.
But don't you think there's something really beautiful in PCP that there's this entire community that are trying to do this better?
Yeah.
Which that's
yeah,
what we
yeah.
are. We're just another two people that are trying to do it better.
Yeah,
Don't
totally.
you think?
That's all I am.
But I actually think there's kind of really cool. There's a record of this. I know the reality is, because I know teenagers, they're not going to care about it.
Well, yeah, I do. Yeah, if I'm honest, I do sort of think about that a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, there might be a time when my kid's sensitive and they'll be like, oh, I used to talk about things on the pod a little bit. And I hope I just am on the right side. And I'm only here to get better. Like that's.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting,
and not at the expense of my kids. That's the other thing.
Totally, yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and and I think it's funny because one of the biggest bits of evidence around being a better parent is reflective practice, and that's kind of what you and I are doing at every single episode. We bring the PCP community along for a reflection every part too. But you know what I mean? We're constantly reflecting, aren't we?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, you and I are like this off the mic as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The conversation we had just before we came in here was about, supporting one of our kids.
Yeah, totally. Like I've got no idea how to parent. Like my responses to some of your questions are like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? The fact is we're just thinking about it.
Yeah. I just think about it like, I just think that, anyway, probably move on from the question.
But that's the beautiful thing about PCP is we're just being ourselves. And that's why it's very hard to be.
Let's put in the work now. Otherwise you've got to put in the work later, I don't think it ever stops. I think some people with older kids be like...
Well, there's probably some people with some, money-making idea of like, let's just put a funny dad next to a good-looking expert and...
Can't see either of us in this live stream.
But you know what I mean? It's like, this is you're 100%. That's why you're beautiful. You're 100% here to just get better.
Yep, I am. Let's see how I'm going. Hey, Billy. Someone's got a 3-year-old that refuses almost all fresh fruit and vegetables, but will have smoothies, veggie muffins, etc. So we'll have the ingredients, but just won't eat them fresh. They're a bit worried about kinder next year, and where they're obviously expected to eat fruit for snacks. Beautiful.
Do you know what made me think of a couple of things? One that's parenting, one that's not parenting related. You're a bit of a smoothie master.
Oh, I love me.
What's your hack, just for listeners, about the margarita?
He's talking. Yeah. Okay. No, that's a daiquiri.
Give that to the daiquiri. Give that to us. How much I know cocktails. Give that to the Patreon community.
Just
because a lot of people want to do the composting thing.
Yeah. No. Look, still the daiquiri front. Just recipe tin. Let's just go look at the daiquiri. But the idea is that you buy the berries when they're very cheap and you freeze them. I have a freezer full. You take the top off all of them and then you put them in the strawberry daiquiri. You whack in the freezer long term. So all winter long you can enjoy a nice drink to get you through a cold winter night. That's the ambition of all the thing. But it's a very cheap in February to buy your berries.
Amazing.
Freezer space. You can do that.
Yeah. But on one day at a time. Look at this
amazing
guy.
if I put more effort into not drinking where I'd be. Anyway,
but
Billy,
it actually ties in. So interestingly, we use the smoothie trick as well, and I know you do, to try and get stuff into them. You use smoothies, don't you?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great hack. You use
leftover nuts,
pancakes as well to get stuff into them.
Yeah. Ground up nuts. I had a kid with anaphylaxis for cashews, so I'd put pistachios in there because they have to get. It's part of the pistachio family. Build a tolerance. Yeah. Pancakes.
So why does that work? There's 2 reasons why that works. Why does it work?
Oh, they really like them.
Yeah. But what do they? Yes. Also, what else are you doing? There's no pressure in it. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's often a textural preference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's 2 things. Like kids just often will, like that texture. But one of the reasons so many kids eat nuggets is our narrative around them is it's not, we're never forcing kids to eat nuggets, are we?
No.
They like them. They're fun. They're often in a celebratory setting. Yes. How cool's this? They're a bit of a part of it. All of those things, but we're not very good. And I fail at this as well. I know the evidence really well about like role delegation. This is the food I'm going to put in front of you, and this is when. It's your choice to eat it. But we still use treats. We still, do you know what I mean? If I'm honest.
Oh my God.
But I also try and have a healthy narrative about there isn't good food and bad food. We also know, like Evie's refused to eat, and I did this by accident, if I'm being 100% honest, and Annalise won't hear this content because I pretended that I knew what I was doing.
It's a live stream. She won't be able to get access to it anyway. Go.
Evie ate something the other day she's never had because she just helped me make it. Do you know what I mean? But I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just trying to keep her occupied, waiting for dinner, because she was getting a bit antsy, and she just came up and helped me make it. And I just, off the cuff, I wasn't even thinking about it. I said, "Can you taste it and see if it's ready?"
Did a Bradbury.
Yeah, and she just went, "Yeah, it's really good," and then ate it. She'd never eaten it before. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't have the pressure. I was involving her in it, all the evidence. But that doesn't mean do that and it'll work every time. It's just that's the best chance of it working.
Yep.
And wasn't there something about, did you say something about kinder? Or?
Yeah, preparing them for kinder.
Yeah.
So there's obviously going to be the expectation at kinder that they're going to eat fruit.
Yeah, so just giving them the heads up. The kids should also have the option whether they eat or not. Everyone worries, that they need to eat, but they will all have a hunger drive. The bigger risk is that we put a negative association in with a mealtime.
Yeah, and if it's like, I know there's a lot of parents out there that could probably relate to this. You get told your kids had 4 serves of flipping chickpea curry, and you're like, that kid's never eaten curry or chickpea in his life. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're eating it. And I think it's because that when they're actually sitting around 6 other kids at the table, I'm not saying your kid will eat the fruit, but if their mates are all eating it and there's no pressure because someone's just doling it out, they'll probably eat it, is what I've learned as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe. But you also speak to those places and be like, this is my kid's preferences. This is when they signal that they really don't want it and they're starting to get a bit distressed.
And that's why you're the expert.
Like, hey, no, yours is great too.
No, it's not. Hey, Billy, we're going to go on to the next one. Yeah, bit of a tough one here. Kinship carer here, wanting to support with parents' instability and the loss of their baby brother.
Yeah, I mean, that's trauma. Kinship carers are some of the most important people in our community.
What is a kinship carer?
So someone that's looking after someone that they haven't given birth to, and it's often kinship because it's someone within their family structure and things like that, or their community, depending on different cultures and stuff like that. And they're amazing. And I think what that question is saying, what was it about the parents that...
wanting to support with parents' instability and the loss of their baby brother.
So parental instability, which is we're not better parents than those parents. They've just often had multi-generational trauma, have mental illness, have, unhealthy coping mechanisms such as drug use and things like that. And I meet these parents and God, I love meeting them. I love meeting those parents because it's so easy to just show them respect and try and connect with them and then find something they're doing well and tell them. They pick up strengths-based stuff so easily because they've very rarely heard it, if ever. And I think I've talked about it on the pod before, some of the most emotional experience I've had in clinic have been with those families where I just go, you're trying really hard and I think you're doing really well, and they just get really emotional. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting paid to have these conversations with people. I don't say it tokenistically. I will get to know the parent and find something first. The other thing is that kid, if we're thinking about in unstable parental relationships and a loss of a sibling, devastating stuff, allow them to be angry, allow them to have big emotions, allow them to be annoyed and think it's unfair, share that with them, give them that safe space. When they blow up, go towards them. Of course you feel like this, but also heal them by showing them the relationships that will sustain. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always going to be here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's pretty heavy, but I tell these kids, I'm like, I feel like it's a privilege that I'm going to get it to journey and see where you land because I think it's going to be an exceptional place that you get to. Okay. What we talk about in relational practice is quiet enthusiasm. So I don't meet those kids and go, you're going to be fine, mate. You're going to be a millionaire. You're going to be the top of the class and all that stuff. I go, you know what, mate? I think you're amazing. I've got to know you. I think you've had a really hard time that you don't deserve, but you've got this, and this going for you. And I'm going to journey with you as long as you need me to. And I can't wait to see where you land. Yep. That quiet enthusiasm. Like every kid should have that story around them.
Yep.
A lot of them don't.
Cool. Billy, can you provide tips for navigating a blended family with 5 kids aged between 7 and 17 and different parenting styles?
Yeah, so we know where the evidence is in parenting style. We've done that a lot. I'd love to go back and do aliens because Ripley's just phenomenal as an authoritative parent. We worry about persistently unhealthy styles such as the judge dread authoritarian or the permissive kind of I'm the cool mum. We really worry about the neglectful parent, the cold, low demand. But I think if you're talking less about big holistic parental approaches and more about specific things, then that's actually okay. What we want though is if a kid is struggling with something, we've got a target such as emotional regulation, such as how you are with your siblings, such as your confidence when you're anxious. We want to take the burden off that kid of looking around and saying, who's supporting me? What kind of support am I going to get?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So thank God we have the partners we do. But if we were in separated homes, and one of our kids was struggling, what I'd hope is that I can say to that other parent, we're working on this. I think this works. What do you think? How about just every time we see this happen, we get down on the level, say I'm here, connect with them, watch their body language, and then take them to somewhere they feel safe and just sit there with them and see if they want to talk. Can we just try that consistently? The other thing is, making sure that you acknowledge that there's not something detrimental in just a different approach to stuff. But consistency when a kid is struggling is really important, ideally across every environment. So the sports coach knows what we're working on, the teacher knows, mum knows, dad knows, and in every environment, because then the kid checks less. They don't have to look around and threat seek and go, what's it going to be like now?
Yep. Cool. Sorry, just trying to track a few things right now.
Yeah, you're doing amazing, mate.
No, try and you check any text messages coming in from the team.
Yep, team, hopefully going okay. We've got 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
Hopefully people are enjoying this.
At least. Hey, Billy, tips on how to build a community for kids from any age? Any particular great spaces or for this or things to be careful of? Tips on how to build a community for kids from any age.
Yeah. So I think testing things out, I don't know about you, but you've got a really strong community. We don't, because we've been busy and we're a bit hopeless at that. Whereas I think you're really good at investing in the relationships that are around you. But testing things out, we've definitely tested heaps of stuff and gone, that's not right for our kids. That's not right for us. Testing things out. Don't stretch yourself too much. We go in and out of doing that where we overdo it. But what's really important for kids and us is that we see people as similar to us that are around. So that kind of idea of shared interests, shared values. Do you know what I mean? About thinking about that, and the same for kids. And the evidence that shows us that participation in cultural traditions is a really protective factor for all kids, especially at a young age.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. So your kids, for example, say they're really into AFL.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's protective for you being a part of AFL.
Yes.
I've never connected with that culture. So it's important that I have alternative cultures that I connect with. So I don't always feel like I'm missing out on something. There's something different about me. Remembering bullying, peer relationships, all that stuff, even the awful stuff that's happening in the world now is caused by us and them. So kids who are part of communities where they feel like they're in an us, especially if they're inclusive communities that broaden and look out and say, how can we adapt? How can we be more supportive of a greater diversity in this group? That's hugely beneficial. And you can do that from a very young age, under 2.
Okay.
Because that's when those early pro-social things start happening, like parallel play, being around other people, connecting with other people they don't know. That evidence around 2 non-parental adults take a genuine interest in you is from a very young age.
Yep. Billy, we're going to fire through a few here.
Beautiful.
How's that sound? 10 to go. 10 to go. Oh, 8 to go. We're going to bash them. How do I gently move away from sleeping with my 5-year-old in their bed every night? Daughter suffers from separation anxiety, low confidence. Love your work.
Yeah, so if they're in that clinical range, like you've got to be really careful and do it very gently. And if you need to, with the support of a clinician. But what we know is thinking about sleep as this progression from active to calm to sleep, especially a kid who's very anxious. It's very hard to go from calm to sleep. So you got to work on that active to calm.
What does that mean?
So like my kids just burning around, and then I have to have a calm thing. Like I do reading. I do face stories, I do body scans, all that. That's transitioning them from active to calm. I don't go active to sleep.
Got you.
Do you know
can't go active to sleep. Yeah, I try that.
Like, you know, some people can, but
no. Like I went, no, don't recommend.
So if you're at the point, which everyone is like, there's so much cultural pressure to like for kids to sleep on their own. But if you're at the point where you're like, no, this is important to us as a family, it's impacting my sleep, all of that stuff, then you just want to practice that step first, active to calm.
Active to calm.
And then you go, sweet, we're really good at this. Now let's do calm to sleep. And there's lots of different, like, as I know, there's no kind of, my repertoire does not include things like controlled crying unless it's like completely necessary because of parental mental health or something like that. But you can give a skill set to a kid about how they self-soothe. And what we think about is teach them that. When you've got the active to calm bit, talk about the calm to sleep as the soothing technique, where at the start, my kids are at the point where they need me 100% to scaffold that.
Yep.
I'm doing that for me too. But then you back it up, reduce the intensity of how much you're doing and watch them.
Yep.
And watch them and then back off.
I'm giving you the wrap up. Not the full wrap up. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to go a couple minutes over. How can I support my child when she's feeling shy? She's very excited to see her friends and family, but shuts them out or even gets angry when they arrive due to it.
So drop the demand.
Okay. What would that look like?
Less people.
Less people. Yes.
Maybe not at the front door, maybe in their room.
Good
maybe
one.
Like down on the ground doing something in their bedroom with that one person. Not everyone coming in really excited, heaps of noise, heaps of expectation.
Right.
You know, yeah, things like that. I'm trying to give you quick ones.
No, that's good. No, I like it. It's concise. Well done, Billy. Hey, every time our 4-year-old gets a new toy, at first she's excited, but later she says she wants to return or throw it out, as if trying to emotionally hurt herself. What is going on?
How old did you say? Maybe don't say.
4-year-old.
4-year-olds. Yeah, I think they're probably just not in a pathological way, but just confused, you know, and having big emotions around those, you know. And you got to, like, the kid who's completely overwhelmed and stressed, but also the kid who's like, I'm not interested in this anymore and just wants to toss it. You've got to be like, cool, this is early, like, values system stuff about, you know, someone gave you this, or, you know, you wanted this and you signaled to us that you did, like, you know, those kind of things. But if they're distressed and overwhelmed, just understanding that often those kids are just emotionally confused in that space. Big emotions, big roller coaster stuff.
Cool. Billy, we're going to do 3 more quick fires and then we're going to quickly just look at the chat.
Oh, yeah. Just maybe we're going to evaluate this, but I think we're going to do it in Patreon so people can fill out information just to try and make it better. I'm sure people will be kind about how we can improve it, but that'll come through some way as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Go. Sorry. Give me the 3 quick ones.
A little bit of makeup probably wouldn't hurt. Someone wants to put that up. Might come from
an artist. Come in.
Just saying, makeup artist would make it better.
For the live shows too.
Yeah. Hey, should we offer more praise to support a child with ADHD to fill the dopamine gap, or could this create an unrealistic expectation later in life?
So it's okay, but what I think more about when I hear that question is, how do you give them an intrinsic motivation and success? So how do they have opportunities to succeed, not so much give them more external praise? External praise gets way too much of a bad rap, but thinking about the dopamine seeking bit, how do you give them healthy opportunities to experience that success as opposed to just applaud them more?
Yeah, okay. Follow up later. Hey, Du Bois mask?
Definitely. Definitely. That was my mistake. I just emphasized girls do it way more. Why do you think girls mask more? It's a bit unfair.
No.
Very young age, culturally, they're told this is the way it should be. You can't get angry. You can't lash out. You can't throw stuff. Boys have much more, you know, space to do that, don't they, from a young age?
Yep.
So they're very early on taught this is how you behave in this setting. And so girls are just more likely to mask, especially teenage girls who are bright, especially teenage girls who are bright and are neurodivergent.
Right. Okay. Last official question here. Hey, what should I look for in a high school to support a child with ADHD, since their primary school is flexible and supportive versus how structured high schools are?
It's a great question. So what the evidence shows is that people can find this if they're interested. My positive deviant research was 5 or 6 years ago around schools that look after these kids well, was that they have strong leadership that supports the individual teachers. They do have structure and they have processes in place for when a kid is struggling. They also share their knowledge with the broader community. But I think on a more simplistic level than that is introducing, bringing the kid into the school environment and seeing how they feel about it. How do they respond to the kid? How does he feel about it? But the structure bit is all kids have a different need regarding that. Most of our schools are too structured, but some kids that go into unstructured environments will find it really difficult because they need, going right back to that routine thing I was going on about earlier, they need that predictability. They need that guidance of that, and that kind of just free roam environment, it can make it hard for them. But, things like ADHD, you kind of need to have the space. You need to have the actual physical environment be one that supports you, but you also need to have the space to move around, to have that need met. You also need to be able to hyper-focus. You need to have some flexibility in the way that the content's given to you so that you can use your working memory in a way that suits you. Heaps of stuff about that, but there's no set rule that goes structured's better than unstructured.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, I've got 2 more quick questions. So,
cool.
I know we're right on time, but we did start a couple minutes late. In ECE, early childhood education, I'm assuming, how do we help neurodivergent kids feel safe and accepted without masking while still protecting others when behaviours become physically unsafe?
Sorry, okay.
How do we help neurodivergent kids feel safe and accepted without masking while still protecting others when behaviours become physically unsafe?
So catching early triggers and remembering that a kid that's having emotional difficulties is not necessarily a kid that doesn't feel safe. Sometimes the kids that aren't having emotional difficulties and are bearing it all everywhere are the ones that feel the least safe.
Right.
So that's not the gauge.
Right.
You just want to catch early on where you can and think about where were the triggers of what happened, what might have been going on, not asking the kid, thinking about what happened when they were blowing up.
Gotcha.
What might have been what they signal. I'm just going to give you a couple very quick ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can I just do, I've got some 2 light ones to end it on.
Okay, go. Oh, yeah, okay, go.
No,
go. Do it.
Okay. I have a reoccurring dream where I meet you guys, become a blubbering mess, embrace you, raving how incredible you both are. How do I navigate this man crush? The team just sent this through to me. It's very funny because I think when people meet us, they're like, Nick's amazing. Billy's tough to get away from.
I think Billy runs a tight tag. He really does want to chat. No, I think
we love meeting people, though, don't we? It's a huge privilege.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the live tour is going to happen.
Yes.
Patreon will be where the info comes first.
I absolutely love being stopped for what it's worth and having a chat. Genuinely do.
And it's amazing. We love it. And so the last one, because I'm going to ask you this, which app of PCP would you recommend a new listener to start with? I keep recommending the pod, but never quite sure which app to send in first.
I got 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I got 2. Oh, I haven't thought about this for a while. I always say go back and listen to Finding Nemo, ADHD. Kids that can't concentrate. Kids that can't concentrate. I felt that would be beneficial to anybody in and around supporting a kid that has problems concentrating. And I think the Pretty Woman self-esteem one's really good because I like when you do a twist.
Yeah.
I do a twist one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I really like Rambo. I really like, what was Resilience? You know what movie that was? Was it Shawshank?
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like Batman. I really like, it was just some that I got to like, there's some that I felt like I did better because it is one take. I kind of go, God, did I actually do that well? And so those are the ones. But remembering, like, we're trying to get a better way of visually seeing what all the topics was, so that you can go back to them, because they are kind of all built in an evergreen way.
Yeah.
But we know we need to come back to some of them because, yeah, people want to hear more and more about it, about that topic.
Yep. Well, Billy, I hope we've absolutely captured everything this week from everyone. I'm going to put the camera. I hope we captured everything. I hope the pace is okay for people. I hope that we're covering stuff people want. And with that in mind, we love your feedback. We're here to evolve it.
It's really lovely to hear people say they just want to support the pod. But I think we're actually trying to do something really helpful in this space as well. You are massively helping us by helping us resource what we're doing. But it would just be lovely if people could say, this is how to make it better, because everyone in PCP is so kind.
Yep.
So, yeah, and I love doing this with you. Nick's going to do every third one.
Yep.
There'll be then one with just me and then one with someone external. We've got some really exciting people lined up. But let us know, because we want to be this. And the people who've asked about some of the resources, I promise I'm going to get to it. Putting up some of the social skills research that I talked about, the books that I gave you. Someone asked about that.
Oh, crackers.
Yeah. So we'll put that information on the Patreon.
Beautiful.
So that everyone can grab it.
Fantastic.
Thank you. You're all amazing being able to come to this. I'm not sure we as parents will be coming to this, so they're doing better than we are.
Yeah, doing amazingly well.
Yeah, so thank you for all your support. You guys are all amazing, and we can't wait to meet a heap of you on the live tour.
Yes, we'll do that. I can't wait. We'll be on the road again. I told you it's going to be 5 weeks.
Rider.
It's going to be a 5-week tour. I won't go for less than 5 weeks.
Kids will love it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, depending where you are.
Yes. See you guys. Bye. I wonder if we get to